There are at least a dozen Republican candidates now in the 2024 race, but despite challenges on multiple legal fronts, former President Trump is still far and away the clear frontrunner for the GOP nomination. So our next guest is former Department of Homeland Security Chief of Staff Miles Taylor, who's out with a new book, Blowback, a warning to save democracy from the next Trump, which dives into events from inside the Trump administration and predicts what another Maga presidency could mean. Miles, thanks so much for joining us.
Linsey, it's great to be here.
So turns out the next Trump could be Trump. Were you ever expecting that?
It could. I mean, you look at the outset of this book, I said, the next Trump might be him returning to the White House, but it also could be a savvier successor or a copycat. And what's interesting is when you put that picture up of those people who are in that field, the majority of them are vying to be the next Trump. And a lot of them have actually tried to pursue policies that even Donald Trump resisted putting into place.
So back in 2018, you wrote an anonymous op-ed for the New York Times. At the time, you were part of the Trump administration. Then in 2020, you went on the record basically admonishing Americans, do not vote for Trump again. He didn't win then at that point. But now when you look at the polls, if there are any real indication, I mean, he's off the charts. What goes through your mind?
I think it's pretty alarming. I mean, if you look at not just the polls, but the betting markets give him 3 times the odds of winning the presidency as he had on the eve of actually winning the presidency in 2016. And I think that we've got to take that extremely seriously. But what it points to is a deeper problem in our political system, which is structurally, right now, our political system is sort of rewarding extremism. What do I mean by that? The primary process in our political system means roughly 10% of the country makes the decision for the rest of us, the other 90%, about who's going to be on the ballot when we go vote every November. And I worry that's going to happen in this primary process, as the GOP primary, state by state, is probably going to be determined by heavily Maga voters, heavy Maga voters who are probably going to put, again, Trump or a copycat in that poll position to be in the White House.
Are you shocked that we are in this place again?
I mean, when I wrote that opinion piece several years ago, I tried to say, look, the president's own lieutenants think he's a danger to this country, but don't worry. This axis of adults, they are guardrails. They'll protect our country. And you know what, Linsey? I was catastrophically wrong in spreading that false hope, because what did Trump do? He systematically eliminated and pushed out anyone who tried to say no to him, to try to prevent him from doing things that were illegal. So I don't think we can maintain that false hope of a group of unelected bureaucrats protecting us from a wayward chief executive. We need to take that person seriously. Only one person gets elected president when we vote on the ballot, and we need to assess that individual's character and their intentions before we decide whether to hire them.
Of course, we've been reporting throughout the day about another potential looming indictment, potentially the third this time, for his efforts to potentially try to overturn the prior election. But it doesn't seem like that shakes his voter base, really. Do you see anything changing? Do you feel like, I mean, you know, we are still a while away from Election Day, but do you feel at some point the fangs come out, the gloves come off?
Well, it seems right now to defy the laws of politics. I mean, if you're in a race and your opponent looks vulnerable, you use that vulnerability to attack them and to supersede them in the race. And right now, Donald Trump has faced multiple indictments. He's twice impeached. He should be the weakest potential candidate for the presidency that we have ever seen in American politics. And yet, most of his opponents are scared to attack him because they don't want to alienate his supporters. That fear could potentially put us in a position, and in fact seems likely to put us in a position, where Donald Trump is the nominee.
Miles Taylor, we thank you so much for coming on. Want to let our viewers know that Blowback, a warning to save democracy from the next Trump, is now available wherever books are sold.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.